I am Lamarsha Lewis. Let's talk. Today is December the 4th, 2020. Today is a very special day for me. My mother passed away in 1999, but today would have been her 71st birthday. So I want to make this video in recognition and memory and love of my late mother. Like I said, she was passed away in 1999, so she's been away from our family a long time, but never forgotten. She was the pillar of our family, and today would have been her 71st birthday. So to my mom, happy birthday in heaven. All right, let's talk. I want to talk about what's going on around in our country. COVID-19 cases still going up. I saw where it was reported COVID-19 is becoming the #1 cause of death, even beating out heart attacks. So it's really saying a lot about this virus. It's a very serious virus. We're hoping that soon that a vaccine will come into play, but at the same time we got to be cautious with that, because you just have to, with any and everything, you have to use your own best judgment. And if you're spiritual, always seek guidance from God, for guidance, for direction, because sometimes it's not always a good thing to take shot medicine. I'm not saying don't, because I know that is how, when you have an ailment, illness, you have to take medication. I'm nowhere am I saying don't, but I am saying use caution. So therefore, we're looking for a vaccine to come in that hopefully can help eliminate coronavirus, COVID-19, and we can hopefully soon get back to what we will call normalized, where we won't have to be limited to our holidays. We know Christmas is coming up. We won't have to be limited with just a small, your immediate family. We can go back to where it's a reunion where all your family, as many as possible, and friends can gather together, celebrate, love on one another, and just have a good time. But we're not there yet, and truth be said, I don't know when that will happen, that we will be back to that type of norm that we previously knew. And truth be told, so much we have taken for granted. So this coronavirus has been a very eye-opener, I believe. It has been very challenging. It still is an eye-opener. It still is very challenging, and more people need to take the virus serious. I can't express that enough. You got nurses saying that people are literally on their deathbed dying, but they're still saying, well, I didn't think it was real. No, it isn't real. There's no such thing, or it was a hoax, because it has been downplayed so much. And because of that comes from who is the current person still in office, about 49 days to go, and he will soon be out of a job, at least for being the president of the United States. But you cannot downplay this virus. You cannot downplay COVID-19, because it's sad to say, but I am here to say it's real. I have seen, I was texting with a former friend of mine earlier this morning, come to find out her son had it, and she was talking about how his the taste and his smell has not come back, but he's doing much better, which I was so grateful to hear that. And I know another lady had said the same thing. Her taste buds have not come back. So it's real, people. This coronavirus, COVID-19, this is real, and we don't know when it will be going away. We don't know when a vaccine will be coming into play that hopefully it can help shed some light, and like I said, can hopefully maybe be the cure of that. But right now, we got to adhere to being very vigilant to this virus, being conscious of this virus, and doing our part for not just yourself, but for others. Let's have enough kindness in our hearts, enough humanness in us that we will take it serious and we will adhere to the CDC guideline when they ask us to wear a mask. If you're out in public, wear a mask. And when you're out in public, try to remain as much as 6 feet apart as possible. Try not to be in large gathering if all possible. Wash your hands more frequently. Use hand sanitizer. Things of this, it will go a long way. And most importantly, it will save lives. And you never know. That life may be yourself, someone in your household, whether that's a spouse, whether that's your son, daughter, whether that's your parents, grandparents, things of this nature. Let's just try to care enough to care about someone else. And that's what it's about: being kind, being human, and being respectful, being decent people. I'm from the state of Mississippi, as I have said in many previous videos, but I saw, let me read this. The Mississippi State Department, and this is from yesterday's date, December the 3rd, 2020, where new cases were reported, 2,480 cases. 2,480 cases, new cases that were reported for the state of Mississippi on yesterday. There was 37 deaths, and there was 194 LTC outbreaks. I have seen every day in our state there is a news conference or news briefings about what is going on with the pandemic, with COVID-19. Normally it's our governor that is on, and he has expert like doctors and all of that. And I believe it was today is Friday, so I think it was Wednesday where I saw a doctor. One of our very famous hospital in the state of Mississippi is, we call it UMMC. It's the University of Mississippi Medical Center. That's where most of any type of medical procedures that take place is at that hospital. Is a very crucial, demanding hospital that gets a lot of things done. And the doctor said that they were at capacity for COVID-19 patients, and that's in the state of Mississippi. But what's sad to me is the governor that we have, Tate Reed, has not put in play a mask mandate in all counties. He just has various counties that he, according to him, where there's a more severe outbreak. But we got to use common sense. When we got 2,480 new cases in one day, I would think common sense would be, well, I need to reinforce a statewide, all counties mandate. But not Tate Reed. He's that Republican person. He's trying to appease Donald Trump. He's a Donald Trump very supportive fan. But I'm gonna move on from that. You have to use your best judgment for yourself, your family, your loved one, and it would be very considerable of you to be respectful and think of someone else and wear a mask as well. So that's all I want to talk about in regards to COVID. It was sad to hear, like I say, over one day you got over 200. I'm sorry, I keep saying 200. You got over 2,000 cases in one day. That's a bit extreme, but this is where we are. And again, we got to practice our due diligence. We got to play our part to try to hope to rid this virus, and just soon where it will be no longer something we have to be worried about, concerned about, talk about, and it won't be dictating our lives as it currently is. It's like it's making a decision for us. It's like we just celebrated Thanksgiving a week ago. Yesterday was a week ago. We celebrated Thanksgiving, and we saw we had to redirect that. It couldn't be a normal Thanksgiving where you could have as many people as you want. You was asked to be very limited. Was asked to have just your immediate family, not to travel, and all of that. So we just gotta practice doing due diligence, being mindful, being considerate, and most of all, consulting God in prayer for strength, guidance, and direction. And that should be in any and all things that we do as well. Yesterday, President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris sit down for a exclusive interview with CNN anchor Jake Tapper. I do like Jake Tapper. He's a good journalist. He's a good reporter, good anchor, however you want to use his title. Political analyst. I love CNN. Pretty much everyone on that panel I do like. I like Don Lemon. I like Chris Como. Brianna, Brooke, all of them. It's a lot of them that I like. I like CNN. But he had an exclusive interview with our future president and our future vice president, President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. And he asked a question. Jake asked President-elect Biden a question because it's been stated that Trump is not planning to attend the inauguration. It has been stated that he may even announce on that day that he will be running 2024 for the presidential race again. That's a little absurd for me, but we are talking about Donald J. Trump. And President-elect Biden answered the question in this manner. He said it wouldn't be anything personal in regards to him if Trump does not attend the inauguration. He said, but it would be to the country. And I can respect what he said. In fact, I do respect what he says, and I can understand what he says in regards to our country, that it would basically be disrespect. But where we are at the hands of Donald J. Trump, I think the best thing he do, and again, this is my opinion, I'm speaking for I am Lamarsha Lewis, Let's Talk YouTube channel, me being Lamarsha Lewis. In my opinion, it would probably be best if he didn't attend. Look at how many people, like how many presidential people, whether it was the president or maybe like in the case of now the former and the late First Lady Barbara Bush, she didn't want him at her funeral. Her husband didn't, the late President George H. Bush. And we all know that the late Senator John McCain was very adamant that he did not want Trump at his funeral. So, and then we are basically the laughingstock of the world under Trump. Everybody know he is basically just a con artist. And so I would be pleased, and it would make me happy to know that he doesn't attend, he and Melania, because they have not upheld what being the president or the first lady of the United States represent. Trump has done his own, he had his own agenda. One, he was there to undermine everything that formerly was done by President Barack Obama. That was his main mission, as well as getting as much deals and money out of for him and his family. So I don't know. We shall see January the 20th whether he will or will not attend the inauguration. But I promise my feelings won't be hurt if he stay home or do what he do most, which is golf. Hey, go golfing that day. That's what you've been doing anyway. You haven't been working for us, the American people. We rarely heard from you since the election, and especially since November the 7th, when it was announced that Joe Biden will be the next president, the 46th president of the United States. So he's still pondering his false accusation of fraudulent rigged election, but which is just very absurd. There's no way that there could be a rigged election when so many other people, like I said, when we just use the Republican candidates themselves, Mitch McConnell got reelected, Lindsey Graham got reelected, and the woman that would sit front row at a public hanging in my state, Cindy Hyde Smith, got reelected. So it's just absurd. And the fact that what makes it more absurd is the fact that it has been entertained. As I did a video earlier this week where the implementation manager in the state of Georgia who works with the Secretary of State. He does a news briefing every day, they said, in the state of Georgia to give a update on what is going on since the election result, because as we know, Georgia had to do a recount twice, and it may even be a third time because it was such a narrow, close race that both candidates were so close that that's one of their laws or rules, regulation that they have in place automatically when it's that close that they just do a recount. Then Trump had requested to do a recount by hand. That was done, and we found out again Joe Biden was the projected winner of the state of Georgia. And then he asked for a recount of the machine count. So it's just so much that's been going on in the state of Georgia. But again, Gabriel Sterling did a news briefing, I believe it was Wednesday, if I make no mistake, by how in his briefing, which is on, you can go to YouTube or just Google it and put in Gabriel Sterling, and you can see he was very upset, in which he had great cause to be upset, because in his words, it's just gone too far. It's not right. It's not fair. He understands he's a public figure. He's going to get the backlash. He's going to get negative comments and things like that. So will the Secretary of State, and pretty much anyone in public figure that comes on. It's unfortunate, but it comes along with the territory. You make that choice to be a public servant, because no one is ever always pleased. And that's sometimes even your own party, your own representation, people aren't always pleased, so therefore you expect it. But there is a fine line, as I said in that video of when Mr. Sterling spoke, when human life becomes in harm's way, when people are threatening human lives, when people are putting out a noose, or when the Secretary of State wife is receiving obscene text messaging to her cell phone, or when they got to get security, extra security. As we know, Dr. Fauci, his family had to get security, his children, because and all of this, I have to make it plain, I have to make it clear, this is at the hand of Donald J. Trump. So that's how I am still just in, like, how do people support a man that evokes violence, a man that celebrates violence? I can't see a policy about Donald Trump when, again, this is who you are as a person. This is who you are as a person. So, because Mr. Sterling said he voted for Trump, so I take it that he's a Republican. To my understanding, he's a Republican, and he voted. He said he still supports Trump. He said he supports the two senators that are in a runoff that will take place January the 5th, basically a month from tomorrow. Kelly LaFollette, I believe is how her name is pronounced, going against the pastor Raphael Warnock. And then David Perdue is going against John Ossoff. There would be a runoff. And I do pray that the state of Georgia turns blue for the Senate races as it did for the presidential race. He asked for those senators to call it out. And that's what Mr. Sterling was saying. It's not being called out. Everybody is just sitting back, being silent. And again, he was upset. He had reason. He had cause. I get it and I understand it. But again, what I don't get, or what I don't understand, how you still say you one, you voted for him, two, you support him. That's absurd to me. But hey, it's called life, isn't it? It's called life. I want to read a tweet. I am on Twitter. Please feel free to follow me at Lamarsha Lewis on Twitter. And this is a gentleman that I follow on Twitter. I like him. He always he's just real. He keeps it real. Tweets. His name is Don Winslow. And he got, it's all gone too far. Sure, now that white Republicans are getting threats, it wasn't too far when kids were being thrown in cages, when reporters were being threatened, and when black people were being killed. He makes a very good point. You can't, no lies detected. No lies detected. But now that, as he stated, and this was pointed out by him, and he is a white person, but he's calling it for what it is. It's gone too far now, because we got the wife of the Secretary of State receiving obscenity type text messages through her cell phone. It's gone too far now. And a 20-something-year-old young man that was attacked, and to my understanding, I believe he was like a contract worker, simply was trying to go and send in a report to do his job, and that's where supposedly a noose was given to him, or suggested, or however it may have been. And we got this. That's how Mr. Sterling made when he did his briefing. Like he said, he was trying to get through, which he got through it, but he was very upset. And again, I understand it. But when we call it out, we got to call it out, all out. We can't be sugarcoating, half-coding. Wrong is wrong, right is right. And that's wrong is wrong, right is right. But so when I saw that tweet today, I said I had to be in agreement, because, as I just said, no lies detected. When you have kids, innocent children, some of them were babies. I mean, literally like arm babies that's still being cradled, or mothers could still be nursing, but really needed their mother there to nurture them, to care for them. And you take babies, you take kids away, and you put them in a freaking locked cage. Inhumane treatment. No type of sanitation. Think about it. They're not even getting adequately baths. Probably not even getting adequately fed, because it was so many. Weren't getting proper hygienes. And think about it, when you got young girls that may have started their menstruation cycle, then you got people locked in cages. You got, and I don't know, I only can hope that maybe they had the girls in one and the boys in one. But because just dare think, if they had girls and boys together, and you got all these people that you don't even know, people are crazy. Can you imagine what type of abuse, sexual abuse, physical, mentally and emotional abuse that these children, and they can forever suffer abuse, mentally, emotionally. Just think, being locked in a cage as a child. I'm 51 years old. I'm an adult. I can't even see myself being able to handle something of that. So just think, as a child, being locked in a cage. And I'm not saying we don't supposed to have immigration laws. I understand we are a country. We are a law-abiding country. That's, the Bible tells us that we got to do things decency in order, and to obey those who have rule over you. There are laws in place, but at the same time, empathy should always be right here. Empathy should always be here, which is at the top. Compassion at the top. But everybody don't have a heart, as we see. And I don't like when you want to try and pass the buck. Well, Obama administration did such and such. If they did, they kept it from the American public. Because what we know under this watch of Donald J. Trump president administration, children were thrown in cages. Children were taken away from their parents. it has been recently reported that many of those children, at one point in time, 666 of those children have not been relocated or back with their parents. It has been stated that there is no file information of how to get them back to their parents because they did not keep proper information, proper record keeping. So I have a problem with that. You can't pick and choose because of the rich white, the white privilege. But then I better probably move on because we know that's an everyday thing, the white privilege. I think it was The Real we're talking about where the actress Felicity Huffman, who was a part of that college scandal earlier this year, this summer, it might have even been last year, but when she and her and the lady Lauren Lockwood that played on Full House, when they knew that they were lying and scheming, that their children got put in college where many children that lacked that opportunity that really would have been more deserving and more appreciative to be able to go to the colleges that their choice, that their children got in. But again, being rich, power, money, and number one, white privilege. She was supposed to serve 14 days. She served 11 days. And it seemed as if, in my opinion, just watching The Real clip, Garcelle, the new lady that took Amanda Seales' place, it's like she was somewhat trying to give her praise, but Lonnie Love kept it real. I liked how she, and so did Jeannie and Adrian, because, again, wrong is wrong and right is right. I don't think people should be getting accolades when you did something wrong. And now she's about to start in a new film, a new production, basically she's going to be banking, making money again. But again, white privilege. When you're rich, money talks. It's powerful. That's why what we have going on in our government, we don't have people that's there for us, the actual United States people, United States citizens. They're there because they were sent there to do a job, to make the laws, to do bills, pass bills, legislature, and all of that. That is in the best interest of us. Those people looking in the best interest of them. How they gonna keep their pocketbook swollen, their bank account fat, and how they gonna continue to stay in power. And so many of them have been there for years. I think there should be a term limit on people in the Senate. We know the president only get 8 years. And Supreme Court justice, they get a lifetime appointment, people, to be on the bench. And you got somebody like Amy Coney Barrett, never tried a criminal case, only had been a judge in the Seventh Circuit Court for only 3 years. She was appointed in 2017 by Trump. And now this woman sits on the Supreme Court. She's now Justice Barrett. White privilege, rich, and playing the game to get along so you can make it to the top. That's what Miss Amy Coney Barrett did. She played that game because she knows she's not qualified to sit on the Supreme Court justice. But hey, they're going to offer it to me. I'm going to go with it. Can't say in that aspect that I really blame her. But she's definitely not qualified. And then to know that the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg asked to have the next president, because she knew that we were in a presidential election, she asked to have the next president be the person to make the decision who would replace her. From the time that lady had worked all those years, because she was appointed by under Bill Clinton. If I make no mistake, it was Bill Clinton. And all those years and how many doors she has opened for women, because it was she that said that a woman should be in the room anytime decisions are being made. Thank you to the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. A woman should be in the room anytime decisions are being made. Comma, that's how you in the room. And Mitch McConnell did not care enough to honor her last request. The woman wasn't even cold, and he was already on the phone. They had already plotted. The debate was already once Amy Coney Barrett was put on the 7th Circuit Court judge. It was already plot in motion that she would be the person to replace. It's sad to say, but we knew the late Justice Ruth had a very serious health problem. That time, it was only a matter of time, and it was on September the 18th, 2020 this year that she did pass away from her long, lengthy cancer battle. But she was strong. She was a true soldier. She fought a long, hard, good fight. She did not give up or give in. It was just her time. But they were already plotting that they was going to put Amy Coney Barrett, the conservative woman, on the bench. This is what we're dealing with, people. We as a people, we got to come together to stop all of this conservative, as they say. Because that means I want to hold you. When I say you, someone that looks like me, a person of color, especially if the race is African American, black, I want to suppress you. I want to hold you back as long and as much as possible. That's the American way. America wasn't built for us. It's sad to say, yes, I'm American, but I know this country wasn't really founded on me being successful. Me, when I say me as a black person, especially being a woman of color. Even the black man, they don't want to see. Look what they did to our first black president, Mitch McConnell. He said how he was going to fight him on everything. Former President Barack was on the Breakfast Club, and he gave an interview as to how it was like he couldn't get a lot of things done for us, for black Americans, because he was being fought. Like I said, yes, he was the president. He held the highest title in the land, but it's the Senate that he also has to work with him to get approval, unless executive order. Because we see how much Trump was executive order. Yeah. So he had a hard fight. He had a hard fight when people were already openly saying they weren't going to work with you. And that's sad when you're not even willing to work with a person. So that really lets me know Mitch McConnell don't care for black people. But yet he's in the United States Congress and has been there many, many years. I still don't like the fact that Kentuckians sent him back, but I had talked with the person I've connected with from Kentucky, and Kentucky basically just another racist state. That white privilege again. This is where we are at. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to talk about going back to President Biden and Vice President Kamala interview with Jake Trapper. Like I said, he asked him about the inauguration, and he gave his thoughts on it. And he said he ran on when Vice President Joe Biden made his announcement that he was going to be running for president for the 2020 presidential race. His campaign was built on restoring the soul of our country. And he said with Jake on last night, that is still number one. Restoring the soul of our country. Restoring the soul of our country. He said, honor, decency, honesty. Meaning you won't, the news media won't have to be keeping tabs of how many lies you tell because you're telling the truth. You're being honest. You have decency. You're treating people with respect. You're willing to work on both sides. You're willing to meet in the middle, to find a common ground that will be beneficial for everyone. He has said he is not going to be just a Democrat president or just a president to the people that voted for. He's going to be the president for all American citizens, whether you are Democrat, Republican, Independent, don't necessarily have a party affiliation, doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter if you are rich, middle class, poor, none of that, but the American people. That's who the Biden-Harris team will represent. He said number 2 would be to rebuild the backbone of our country, the middle class. Middle class, that's pretty much most Americans that's just trying to make a decent living for their families, have a roof over their heads, put food on the table, be able to pay the bills, maybe once a year, take a summer vacation or something like that. Just holding on to the American dream, the middle class. Bring everyone along. And when he said bring everyone along, to me that gave reference, and I think that needs notation to be made. That meant like Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Now, she's a woman of color. She's a woman, one. And then she's a woman of color. She's biracial. Her mother was Indian. Her dad was African American. Bring her along. And we see that their cabinet picks, both his President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, their cabinet picks have been people that look like the American people. That's whites, that's blacks, African American, that's Asian descent, Hispanic. One man gave a very moving story when it was said that he would be working with the Biden-Harris, like how he came here, an immigrant, and now look what God has done. And lastly, he said to unite the country, and Lord knows we need uniting. And we are all, there's so much division, but when the division comes from the top, that's what makes it sad, because the top is supposed to be the leader, supposed to set the best example. As we have learned from our household growing up, the example comes from your parents, whoever that person that's the head of that household. That's what children learn. That's how you learn to be a good person, a good citizen. Be obedient, be respectful, go to school, get an education, find a trade, go to college, marry, have a family, treat people right, treat people with respect. That's what it's about. Coming together, and don't be having your picks and your chooses. Don't discriminate, but unite. Genuinely unite and come together. It also needs to be mentioned that this is the third time that Vice President, now President-elect Joe Biden, has ran for the office of president. He first ran in 1988. Then he ran in 2007. He dropped out, and it was in January of 2008 he dropped out. And as we know, President Barack Obama became the Democrat nominee for the 2008 presidential election. And once he was that candidate that was selected, he asked Joe Biden to be his vice president. He accepted that, and he became the vice president in the two-term administration with former President Barack Obama, 2008. And as we know, their term ended in 2016 or 2017 when it took place, when Trump was officially sworn in as president, the 45th president of the United States. But he had did that 3 times. First time in 1988. He was 29 years old. Biden was 29 years old when he first entered the political realm. As he said, when Jake mentioned it in their interview, he said he was a kid. I guess so. 29 years old. Not even 30. And he just turned, if I make no mistake, he just turned 78 last week. So, he's been in the political realm a very long time. So I know, we know he knows the job. And I do believe he would do it fair and efficiently. That is my hope. And I do also see him as a kind person, a kind-hearted, general person. We saw how he consoled Meghan McCain live on The View that time when he was there doing an interview with them, and that's when her father had first been diagnosed with cancer, and former now President-elect Biden's son Beau passed away from the same cancer. And Meghan, she was being human. She just basically was being human, and she was emotional, and he consoled her, and I thought that was very sweet. But that's who he is. So we know he will be a leader, and he won't be berating people. He won't be, as he said, if he's gonna do what he needs to do. If he make a mistake, he's gonna acknowledge he made a mistake and move forward. But Trump refuses to ever acknowledge that he made a mistake. That's not life. And if we all be honest, you know that's not life. Life comes with ups and downs, good and bad. And yes, there are going to be some times where we err. There are going to be some times where we make mistakes. But the key to that is not to continue to err or continue to make mistakes, but to learn. And again, like President Biden said, move forward. Move forward. But not be with such an ego where it's all about you, and you refuse to acknowledge that everything isn't always on the up and up, or everything isn't always good. But 49 more days of Trump. And I also want to talk about Kamala Harris being the first woman to hold the role as vice president, first woman of color. She's been a senator since 2017 for the state of California. She was born in Oakland, California. Again, I mentioned her mother was from India. Her dad, a college professor. She went to a HBCU, Historical Black College University, Howard University. Went on to law school, became an attorney. Became a district attorney in district attorney general in San Francisco, California, 2004 to 2011. Then she was attorney general for California in 2011 to 2017. And then, as I stated, in 2017, she became the United States Senator. Some first for her in many areas. She said it in her speech when they did their speech after they had been the nomination to have won the presidency for 2020. She said her mother told Kamala, "You will be the first of many, but you will not be the last. Don't be the last. Bring somebody else on up with you." So I wanted to talk about Kamala and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and President-elect Biden. I think it's important to note that both Biden and Harris have basically had better success in their latter years of their careers. That speaks volumes. Cause lots of times people will think you got to do it all young, or you can only achieve things by being young. But these two have proven that the best is yet to come in the latter years. God tells us their latter will be greater than their beginning. That's biblical. And that just speaks volume, and it gives inspiration and encouragement to me, because I believe the best is yet to come. My breakthrough is coming for me in my latter years. Many people like to just count you out if you haven't attained success, say 30, 40. By the time you reach 40, they want you to think it's all downhill. No, not so. Don't even claim that. I don't. I believe that they have proven and debunked that the best doesn't come in the latter years. That's just not a true theory. They have shown us this. You got a woman of color becoming the first vice president, and then a man that's 78 years old on the third time, as they say, third time is a charm, is now about to be the president of the United States. Yeah, they just getting started. They just getting started. The best is yet to come. It's yet to come for them. Our president-elect Joe Biden, our vice president-elect Kamala Harris, is yet to come for, the best is yet to come for us. And by us, that means you, me, the American people. The best is yet to come. So let's get on that train and make the necessary preparation and be all in. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And that is true. So keep all these things in mind. I just wanted to have the conversation with you today from I Am Lamarsha Lewis Let's Talk YouTube channel. Today being Friday, December the 4th, 2020. And as I stated in my earlier part of the video, today would have been my mom's 71st birthday. So this is in memory and love and honor to her. I hope everyone has a great weekend. And please be very mindful that we are in a pandemic. It's not over. We still have to practice caution, be safe, and caring about one another, ourselves, our family, our friends, everybody. Wash your hands. When out in public, please wear a mask. Please try to stay 6 feet apart as much as possible. Practice social distancing. Wash your hands. Use Germ-X, hand sanitizer, all of that. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved one. Life is short. Life is precious. So, till the next time, feel free to share this video. Feel free to leave comments. I welcome positive feedback. Please subscribe. That would be great importance. If you subscribe to my channel, I hope you help invest in me, that this platform will grow to what God has put in my heart. I truly believe He's going to take me somewhere to where my platform leads to where I'm a TV talk show host or a political analyst, commentary, maybe even working in politics. God has something special in store. I believe it, I claim it, I declare it. And I can only attain it with your help and your support. That's why I ask you to please support this YouTube channel. I am Lamarsha Lewis. Let's talk. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you and take care. Be safe. I am Lamarsha Lewis. Let's talk.